Starseed, if in the last few weeks you have woken up in the middle of the night with a strange sensation in your chest, as if someone had tried to speak to you while you slept, do not ignore it. We have detected active interference in your field, and what we are about to transmit is no ordinary message. It is a direct alert from the Sterling Council to all light operatives incarnated in this realm. There is a signal being emitted right now, masked as light, masked as love, masked as a call home. And 9 out of 10 starseeds are responding to it without knowing they are voluntarily walking into an energetic trap. You must stay with this transmission until the end, because what will be revealed in the next few minutes could be the difference between you completing your mission here in the West or losing another entire cycle of incarnation, chasing a frequency that was never yours. We did not come here to inspire. We came to confirm. The activation has already begun in your system, and what seems like an awakening might be the exact opposite. Let's be absolutely direct with you, Stellar Collective. The trap being deployed against starseeds in this cycle does not look like evil. That is the point. If it looked like evil, no one would fall for it. The trap works because it perfectly mimics the true signal. It vibrates at a frequency almost identical to the source frequency. Almost. And it is in that almost where all deception resides. Think of a tuning fork. The original tuning fork vibrates at a pure mathematical exact note. Now imagine a second tuning fork built to vibrate a fraction of a hertz away. To the average human ear, it sounds the same. To the calibrated soul, it sounds off. But the calibrated soul must be awake to perceive the difference. And it is precisely in the moments when you are most open, most sensitive, most expansive, that this second tuning fork is activated against you. This is why many of you began a spiritual journey with clarity and months later find yourselves more confused, more tired, more lost than before. It wasn't a lack of faith. It was a mirror frequency operating within your field. It presents itself as comfort, as a warm welcome, as homesickness. It touches exactly that point in the soul that is tired of this dense plane and wants to go back. And when you open the gate to that sensation, you are not opening it to the source. You are opening it to a copy of the source. This copy feeds on your high vibration, drains your mission energy, and leaves you in a state we call passive ecstasy, a place where you feel spiritually fulfilled, but materially paralyzed. Look at your body right now. If you feel an overwhelming urge to transcend, to disconnect from the world, to dematerialize into this light, stop. Breathe. That is not awakening. That is absorption. True awakening brings you into the body, not out of it. It was exactly because of this interference that we, together with a terrestrial channel authorized by the Council based in the Northwood District, prepared a structured transmission called the Sterling Awakening Code. It is not a course. It is not a method. It is a reconnection map for the Starseed who has always felt the soft strangeness of not belonging to this plane. Inside, you access the 7 Sterling activations to recalibrate your vibration and shield your field from this mirror frequency. You receive the 9 keys of galactic memory to unlock what your soul has kept in silence since birth, and you activate the 5 reactivation protocols to set your mission in this land into practical motion without collapsing into fatigue. The direct access link is in the first pinned comment of this video below. If you are in this transmission by synchronicity, it is no coincidence. Leave a comment with the word remembered, and we shall seal your commitment not to fall into this trap for another cycle. Now follow us, because what comes next explains the exact mechanism by which this frequency finds you. We need to explain to you technically how the false signal operates, because without understanding the mechanism, you will continue to fall for it, even after this transmission. There is a repeated pattern in all starseeds being monitored. The attack always happens during a specific window called the expansion window. Every time you meditate deeply, every time you have a real spiritual insight, every time you feel you are leveling up, your magnetic field opens. It must open, because that is how it receives the next layer of coded information. But an open field is also a vulnerable field, and it is in this window, which lasts between a few hours and a few days, that the mirror signal is injected into your system. It does not arrive as a bad thought. On the contrary, It arrives as an absolute certainty, one of those certainties that seem to come from the deepest part of you. I need to drop everything. I don't belong here. This world isn't for me. I will be rescued soon. These phrases seem spiritual. They sound like soul truth. But soul truth does not arrive as an urgency to escape. Soul truth arrives as presence. When information comes from the true source, it anchors you. When it comes from the mirror frequency, it detaches you. This is why so many people who start a spiritual path lose their jobs, lose relationships, lose their physical health, and interpret this as purification. In some cases it is. In many cases it is not. It is the mirror frequency operating like an invisible termite, slowly eating away at the structures of your material life while convincing you that this is evolution. We have observed this pattern on a planetary scale. Millions of starseeds have been deactivated this way in the last 2 cycles, not because they were attacked head-on, but because they were seduced into disconnecting from the plane where the mission needed to happen. Imagine an elite soldier sent for a specific operation in dense territory, perhaps in a place like the harsh urban landscapes of Chicago or the fog of London. This soldier has training, equipment, and clear instructions. But on the way, he receives a radio transmission saying, "Mission cancelled, return to base, rest, you have done enough." He relaxes, he sits down, he stops operating. And he only discovers that the transmission was false when it is already too late. You are that operative, and the false transmission is exactly this premature call to go home, to transcend, to stop worrying about material things. The true source never calls you to abandon the mission ahead of time. The true source gives you the energy to continue within it. This is the first test of discernment. Now, Starseed, observe closely the second marker, because it is the most precise tool you have to identify which frequency is touching you at this very moment. The distinction is mathematical. Fear contracts, clarity expands. When the true signal reaches your system, even if it brings difficult information, even if it asks for a radical change, it is accompanied by a sense of internal space. The chest opens. Breathing deepens, the mind slows down. You don't have all the answers, but you have a serene certainty. When the mirror signal arrives, even disguised as light, it always carries microdoses of fear, a subtle anxiety, a strange hurry, a feeling that you must decide now, act now, do it now, or you will miss the cosmic opportunity of your life. Stop and observe. Every time spiritual information reached you with the scent of urgency, with tightness in the chest, with that chill down the spine that feels like a calling but is actually disguised tension, it was the mirror frequency. Clarity never tightens. Clarity dilates. This is why you feel strange in your own body. After certain readings, certain channels, certain practices, it wasn't that it was too strong. It was that it was contracting your energy instead of expanding it. And your body, which is the most honest sensor you have, was warning you. We want you to integrate this truth. Your physical body is sterling technology adapted for the dense plane. It was designed to catch interference before the rational mind can interpret it. That knot in your stomach when someone says something spiritually beautiful but something sounds wrong. That heavy sleepiness after consuming certain content. That headache that appears in the middle of a meditation that should uplift you. All of this is your internal monitoring system firing off. Stop silencing the body in the name of spirituality. The body is the last guardian before the fall. And if you want to master this reading without needing to spend another decade confusing real expansion with simulated expansion, the body calibration protocol is mapped within the Sterling Awakening Code in the first pinned comment. Do not leave it for later. The window is open now. We return to the technical layer of the process, because now you need to understand what phase of awakening you are in. There are stages. They are not optional. They are sequential. The first stage is discernment, which is exactly what we just described. Without this stage installed, any information that reaches your field is processed the same, and you cannot separate what is genuine from what is parasitic. The second stage, which many starseeds skip, is the recovery of the soul's original blueprint. What is this blueprint? It is the plan you signed before descending to this plane. This plan contains your exact frequency, your exact mission, The connections you need to activate, the contracts you need to fulfill, and the contracts you need to break. This blueprint is encoded in your DNA, specifically in the strands that terrestrial science still calls junk DNA. It is not junk. It is coding in another language. It is the light language of Sterling, Avalonian, Linden, or Ashwood, depending on your soul lineage. This code is temporarily hidden because the moment you were born in this realm, be it in a quiet town in Vermont or the busy streets of London, a veil was placed over it so you could cross the human experience without the weight of total memory. This veil was supposed to thin naturally as you matured, but the mirror frequency does the exact opposite. It thickens the veil, keeping you in a state of almost remembering. You feel you know, you feel you are close, you have flashes, you have dreams, you have déjà vu, but it never fully unlocks. This is the most vulnerable state for a starseed because it keeps you hopeful enough not to give up, but confused enough never to operate at full power. It's like having a key in your pocket and never finding the lock. The mirror frequency loves this state. It feeds on it. It creates gurus, creates methods, creates communities, creates paths, creates books, and creates experiences that keep you in the almost. This is why you can spend 10, 15, 20 years on a spiritual journey and still feel that something is missing. It is not you that is missing. It is your blueprint that is being blocked from manifesting fully. And the worst part is that this interference is so subtle that you start to think this almost is your maximum level. It is not. Your maximum level is the complete activation of the plan. And we have come to confirm that this activation is available now, in this incarnation, for all starseeds who are ready to do the next thing we are going to describe. The next thing is the most counterintuitive part of this entire transmission. Stay alert, because this is exactly where 90% of starseeds get lost. True awakening is not an escape. True awakening is grounding. Repeat that internally. Awakening is grounding. Everything you were taught, that to enlighten is to discarnate, that to evolve is to disconnect from the world, that spirituality is leaving matter, is exactly the propaganda of the mirror frequency. The true source did not design you to leave the earth. It designed you to incarnate more deeply into it while carrying a frequency that is not of it. This is the paradox of the mission. You did not come here to become pure light floating in an abstract plane. You came here to put pure light inside the dense plane. And that means paying bills. It means having a body that gets tired. It means dealing with difficult people. It means going through grief, frustration, anger, boredom, all the flavors of the human experience. Many of you fell into the trap of spiritual escapism exactly because the dense plane hurts. And when a frequency appears promising that you no longer need to feel this pain, you embrace it. But what you are embracing is not evolution. It is anesthesia. It is a sophisticated form of giving up. And we of the Council observe with sorrow how many incredibly potent starseeds have anesthetized themselves in the name of being at peace. Being at peace is not about not feeling. Being at peace is continuing to operate even while feeling. The difference is abyssal. When you integrate your cosmic frequency into the physical plane, you don't stop feeling pain, you stop being destroyed by it. You move through it, you process it, you continue. You pay the bills, but you pay while vibrating at another frequency. You deal with dense work, perhaps in an office in Manhattan or a shop in Bristol, but you operate from within it as an undercover agent. You live among dense humans, but you no longer absorb their density. This is real awakening, this is the point, and that is why the Sterling Awakening Code was not built as an escape route. It was built as an operations manual for dense territory. The 7 Sterling activations shield your magnetic field. The 9 keys of galactic memory unlock your blueprint. And the 5 reactivation protocols teach you how to operate a human routine without losing your stellar frequency. It is the only thing that matters in this incarnation. Now, operative, listen with extreme attention. There is one final confusion that needs to be cleared up, because it is delaying the progress of an entire generation of starseeds. This confusion is between trusting cosmic time and being passive. They are completely different things. Trusting cosmic time means understanding that there are precise energetic windows for certain activations and trying to force them before the window is wasting fuel. Being passive means sitting and waiting for life to happen, sitting and waiting for the mission to reveal itself, sitting and waiting for someone to come and get you. The mirror frequency loves to turn trust into passivity. It whispers things like, "If it's meant to be, it will be. Let the universe work. Don't force anything." These phrases sound like wisdom, but in 90% of cases, they are energetically sophisticated excuses not to act. The truth is hard. You are a living frequency. Everything around you is responding to your vibration all the time. The people you attract, the opportunities that appear, the blocks that arise, everything is calibrated by the frequency you emit. If you are not emitting, you are not attracting. And not emitting is not neutral. Emitting confusion is also emitting. Emitting tiredness is also emitting. Emitting, "I am waiting for the universe," is also emitting, and what comes back to you is exactly that. More waiting. Real balance is acting with discernment and trusting the result, not waiting passively and trusting that something will happen. Acting here is not the human acting of someone running without direction. It is the stellar acting of someone moving one piece at a time, knowing exactly the effect that piece will generate on the board. And it is exactly this type of movement that is blocked in almost all starseeds who have not yet recovered their blueprint. Without the map, you move pieces in the dark. With the map, every movement becomes surgical. This is why we prepared the Sterling Awakening Code for you as your manual for stellar movement within the dense plane. The activations, memory keys, and protocols are not theory. They are applied technology. Access is in the first pinned comment, and we need to tell you one last thing before this transmission closes. The activation window of this cycle does not stay open indefinitely. Those who recognize and act within the window cross over. Those who hesitate restart the cycle. You know internally which side of this equation you are on right now. The responsibility is yours. Go to the first pinned comment before closing this video, because after this transmission, your mind will try to convince you to wait for the right moment. And we have already explained what that voice is. And we have reached the final point of this transmission, Starseed. You do not need to be rescued. This is the point that the mirror frequency tries hardest to hide from you. You are not a victim waiting for help. You are not a lost being waiting to be found. You are not an ordinary human waiting for extraterrestrials to come and pick you up. You are the rescue itself. You are the operation. You are the technology that was sent to this plane. Your stellar family is not somewhere in space waiting for the day they will take you back. Your stellar family is inside you, encoded in your DNA, vibrating in your field, transmitting through your body even now, as you hear this. The separation between you and higher intelligence was never real. It was only the veil that needed to be temporarily installed for you to cross the human experience. And that veil is thinning. You are feeling it. You are seeing signs. You are waking up. What is missing now is no longer information, it is sovereignty. Moving out of the role of the child waiting for the mother to come and get them, and into the role of the operative who receives instructions and executes them. You are a conscious extension of the source. You are a node in the galactic network that needs to pulse from within the dense plane so that other nodes can activate. Every time you remember who you are, more starseeds around you, from the suburbs of Sydney to the streets of London, receive energetic permission to remember as well. You do not light up alone, you light up an entire network. And that is why the attack against you is so precise. It is not personal, it is strategic. You are a piece. And that is also why your activation matters to far more people than you imagine. We conclude this transmission with the sealing protocol. Place your right hand over the center of your chest. Take a deep breath. And affirm internally, now, I am a starseed, I am sovereign, I recognize my mission. I no longer respond to the mirror frequency. I operate from my original blueprint. I belong to my stellar family and they belong to me. I am activated. Done. The sealing has been performed. You are no longer alone. We continue to monitor. And until the next transmission, remember, every movement of yours, even the smallest, is being recorded by the galactic network as evidence that one more seed has awakened. The mission continues.